What up, my people? It's Carter. Hope you are doing fantastic. Hey, just thought I would check in with you about some stuff real quick, another fierce update. Hey, I think it's really important as we come back to church that we recognize maybe the value that God has humbled us a little bit. I'm reminded of Ezra chapter 3 when the Jews are coming back into the land. They've been in exile now, and they're laying the foundation of the temple. And it's like a really excited time. In fact, all the younger folks are looking at it and they're like, this is fantastic. But there's also folks who were around for the previous temple and they start to weep. And so you've got this joy going on and this weeping going on. In fact, it says in Ezra 3:13, the joyful shouting and weeping mingled together in a loud noise that could be heard from a far distance. These are the people who ultimately still have a lot of purpose. Like God is still going to bring the Messiah through them. Judaism is going to be back in full force before long, and yet they're weeping at what had been lost. It's so important as we come back into this that we recognize, hey, I do need faith for the future, but I also need humility about just how God corrects his people. So maybe in addition to your patience kind of waning, it might be that we should also recognize that God has done this for a purpose. His hand hurts, but he also heals. It's his purpose that we are humbled, but also that we would thrive. And I don't just mean us as a church, I mean the entire nation, every Christian especially who's kind of paying attention to how God uses difficulty in our lives. Hebrews 12:11 says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who are trained by it. And so I just want us to kind of come back, not weeping, but definitely like, wow, Lord, like you are God alone, and we could never have foreseen that you were going to do this. And as a church of the nation, we just want to make sure that we are definitely seeking to walk humbly before our God and do justice and do all the things the church is really supposed to do, and hopefully prune things that we just don't need to really be worried about. So I don't know what all that means, but I do know that it's wise for the people of God to both be optimistic, looking forward to the future, but also sobered about how God has, in his mercy, corrected all of us and may continue. Who knows what's happening for the rest of 2020. Hey, let me tell you about what's going on at church right now. You know, things have really come back together to a degree. The times that we're doing church are now a bit more normal. Okay, so we're going to keep it digital on Saturdays from 5 p.m. and then also do Sundays at 9 a.m. Kids digital is going to be at 10 a.m. and physical church here at the church is also going to be 10 a.m. This has been going pretty well the past 2 weeks that we've tried it. Okay, I feel like we're figuring out how to stay distant. Everybody's wearing masks. In fact, this weekend we're going to start with thermometers are coming up, and so just so you know how that works, it's not going to be scary. We're just going to scan your forehead when you come in because we want to make sure that there's just nobody who possibly even has a fever that comes into the building. I promise that'll go well for you. Also, I've been able to preach recently, and so that's a lot of fun for me. In fact, I would just let you know it's totally cool whenever you want to come back, but it's kind of a little added bonus when you come back. The preaching goes a little bit longer, and honestly, it's probably a little better of a message because I've had the rest of the week to continue to polish it. So let me just encourage you that whenever you feel like it's the right time for you. You know, speaking of the series that we're in right now, Race and the Kingdom, I want to recommend a resource to you. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there, but some stuff honestly is better than others, and I want to have some common language and common understanding on the idea of systemic racism. I think that's a loaded topic, but I'm going to link in the discussion or the chat, wherever you are, the description, I'm going to link a audio or video from Tim Keller. He preached on this actually a couple years ago, but I think this will be eye-opening just to see some of the things that we need to be paying attention to as a church right now. Hey, you know, for some of us, as we come back, I want you to start thinking about serving again. You know, even in the midst of great difficulty, the kingdom moves forward. Once you're comfortable, I want to encourage you to get back in the game of serving. You know, you got to feel comfortable. You got to feel like it's an okay thing to be here. But once that's true, we want to go ahead and be soldiers of Jesus Christ because that's what we're for. You know, the people of God, we use wisdom, but we don't shrink back. We're not known for our fear. We're known for our boldness. 2 Timothy 2:4 says, no one serving as a soldier gets entangled in civilian affairs, but rather tries to please his commanding officer. And Jesus is our commanding officer, and he says, watch out that you don't get entangled in such a way that keeps you from focusing on serving God as a soldier for the cross. It really is better to jump in a little bit early than a little bit late. So I want to invite you to do that. Over the past, I think it was just the past few weeks, we've now crossed over the halfway point, over 50% of the For Those to Come campaign. And man, I just got to tell you, you guys are awesome. I love going to a church where people are generous, where people really have the heart of Christ. You may also know that there have just been some real significant ways we've been able to help people and give to people that were really hurting during this COVID time. That's because of your generosity. So guys, I'm sure we'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks, but way to go. Some families were really helped out. Hey, can I encourage you to keep it up with your faithfulness in giving? It's such a big deal that we take care of the tree that has provided us shade in the past. It says in Galatians chapter 6 that we're to share all good things with those who teach us God's word. And I don't think that has to apply just to the actual teachers, but to the well from which we're drawing spiritual life. And the truth is, this is your well. Okay, or in other words said, it's like this is your tree. During the summertime, especially recently, because of all this really sunny weather, my grass can start to dry up. And you got to water it if you want it to be okay. And can I just tell you, the church that you attend that has fed you in the past is your tree. It is your well. It is your grass. And it's on all of us. We got to take care of the grass. And I know in the midst of it's summertime, and even some, you've really been wrestling with finances. I get that, I totally get that. For those who have means, for those who still, you have an income, I just want to encourage you just to remain faithful. God will be definitely very faithful to us as we remain faithful to Him. So you've been doing great. Please keep it up. Don't stop here. Hey, one more thing you should know about, and that is the Global Leadership Summit coming up this fall. Okay, normally this happens in August, and there is a version that happens in August, but the one that we're largely going to do is in November. During August, you could do a digital watch if you wanted to. We're going to do similar like we did last year for those who attended. We're going to meet here at the church. We're going to watch all together. That is in November. That's November 6th and 7th. I want to encourage you to go ahead and get your tickets. For the best price, you still have to register before July 31st. That's $99 if you attend here at Fierce. So just to reiterate, there's a digital experience that does happen in August 6th and 7th. You're totally welcome to do that. Or like me, you can go to the physical version that is going to happen at Fierce Church. Other people are certainly invited. As a Fiercer, you get a discount, which is only $99. I want to encourage you. I know that it seems like, well, are things still going to be cool then? I think by 3 months after the original one, okay, so that's November. That's the beginning of November. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good by then. In fact, that's why we pushed it out, so that we could all come together. So I want to encourage you, if you're comfortable, go ahead and get your tickets. You can register at fierce.church/GLS. All right, peeps, that's it for my check-in. I love you guys. We'll talk to you.